Warning: the following contains content intended for older audiences and may contain strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good night, Tabooers, and welcome back to the season finale of Taboo Talks. I'm DREA, and I'm your host. Tonight, we want to go out with a bang and touch on a really taboo topic that is hardly talked about, self-intimacy. And whilst I don't necessarily need much help when it comes to self-intimacy, I can't talk about this just by myself. So I have some lovely, brave guests here with me tonight. Please introduce yourselves, guys. I'm gonna start off on this side.
My name is ASHANTI Garcia, popularly known as Airbender.
Hi guys, good night. If by now you don't know me, then something wrong. My name is ROBBYN Vernon, and as always, it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh. My name is DJ Clarks, the girl's name's Parks.
Ooh.
I came prepared.
My name is Shade, and I'm just here for the good socks.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome, Ashanti.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna start off the conversation with us getting an meaning for what intimacy is. Like, what do we think intimacy really means? Woo! Everybody
all at once.
That's a very,
like it's a deep
that's
sigh.
an
Like,
interesting,
what is intimacy?
To me, intimacy is like the closeness that you have in a relationship that means a lot to you. So friendships, romantic relationships, but also the relationship with yourself.
I like that you said that and you didn't go immediately to sex, because
Yeah.
we tend to
Because
associate the
usually-
word with
Exactly.
the physical closeness of
Yeah.
what sex brings.
Exactly. Me myself, like when I initially heard about the topic of conversation, when I heard it say self-intimacy, myself, I just went, oh, self-love. Like I never defaulted to sexuality or sexual acts or anything of the sort. I just automatically thought that that's what it meant, and it kind of is a good thing because it makes me realize that like there's out of the box thinking when it comes to
Yeah.
certain ideas or certain concepts. Like Ashanti, I do feel like it's really a combination of all of that. Like it's not just about with a specific partner. The intimacy encompasses like everybody. It encompasses friends, family, yourself, most importantly. And it just made me really happy to be a part of this topic.
And the thing is, with most people, I think a lot of people hear intimacy, and the truth is, most people would go to sex. They don't think deeper in intimacy. Like intimacy could just be the two of us hanging out, or just me
Precisely.
by myself reading a book. So most people go straight into the thought of, okay, intimacy means sex.
At what age, and this is a good one because I can't even answer it myself, at what age do you feel like you had an intimate connection with someone? Not when you had sex with someone the first time. When do you remember the first time you felt an intimate connection? The first time.
I could answer that quickly. Growing up, I was very close with my grandfather. And so we had times on our steps where we would sit down at night and we just watch the stars. And we just chill. No talking, no nothing. We just enjoy each other's company.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is beautiful.
I'm looking.
That's kind of get me carried a little bit.
How about you, Clarks? You remember the first time you were intimate?
Most of the first time you sit on a turntable.
Damn. That's very hard to compete with, but no.
No?
No. I'd say in my late 20s, probably, I'd say 24, 25. That's late 20s for me, when I actually had this one person and it was nothing sexually related or anything. I remember clearly we made a drive around and I have this perfect spot. I want to carry you. She Okay, me? Weird. And I'm pretty sure she's like, oh God, he want to try to get in my pants. But it was not that.
I was just
So,
gonna say, I'm not too sure if you're an intimate type of guy.
no. Just hear me out. Hear me out. So we park legit like front of this hotel, and I know her heart race. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't tell me that what this dude would do. But I took her out, and the hotel have like 4 stories. And like we went up all the stairs, and she was like, where we going? And then we finally pop up on the roof, and on the roof you could legit see the layout of Belize, like the night with all the lights and so forth. And we played a game whereby we like basically like me to try guess where is where and so forth. And like that whole night, we just based on that. We never even had sex or nothing. We just meant to share that time, and like it just meant like you just feel different versus having sex.
You know, I think that's an important part of intimacy, because I've had that experience where one guy kind of carried me to one special spot where it was just like, he straight up tell me, this is my spot where I come when I need for just, and that important, and especially in an intimacy, because this person trusts you enough to carry you in this space where you find special to yourself.
Where he feels most
Yeah.
vulnerable.
Actually tried sharing it.
Right.
Yeah, so I find like that one next level of intimacy indeed, because like you would put people in your special space.
I have a question then, because me being a girl, and I'm a girly girl, I'm like into fairy tales. Like my favorite movie is a Disney movie. I mean, I look like Baby Spice right now. Hey. So like the first time you have sexual intercourse, right? It's usually kind of like a letdown. You know, for some people it isn't, but for a lot of people it is, and I wonder if it's because we're more focused on the physical act as opposed to the connection that we're about to share with someone. So I want to ask you a question now. Like the first time you had sex, when you lost your virginity, did you consider that an intimate act or no? Your personal one.
Oh, my personal, because I was about to give like both scenarios. I still touch lightly on the female perspective. I personally feel like I wouldn't say no female, but most females don't feel a level of intimacy where they expect from the first time, because I mean, when you first broke your virginity and that first girl, I'll be honest, most guys, we just want to slam bang. We in at the moment, we just want to get it in. We don't really care about
like
intimacy.
How you have the freaking
Yeah, like you
act it out.
Yeah, you know. So like, and then on the female side, like they're less aggressive, and I'm pretty sure they want like their first time be pretty like intimate per se, or at least
bring some
fine.
doves, you know, a box
Yeah.
to like let out.
Then I expect their first time like the dude that like, all right, let's get this in. You're like, yeah, like, you know. I just have to show the movement, cause you know.
Help me when I catch that pack.
I like.
Your muscle memory on that move, like,
I like.
that minute day.
And you could like see in her eyes, like she like really wanted to be special, and like in your eyes, you just focus on, all right, I could get this in, or how fast I would take, all right, good. Well, my mother called me, all right, good. While she like this zone out and like she want to enjoy, and we depend on mission. So I personally feel like no, my first encounter wasn't
intimate at all.
I feel like if I answer this question, the person I do it with the first time might see it.
Oof.
Ouch.
But for me at least, I may reach the point where I think I'm ready, because like from young, I had rules, especially when it comes to sex. I had rules.
She was one of those boundaries.
I had rules. So like my first time, I wouldn't say like intimate. I think at this point I kind of want to get it over with. Like to just say, okay, like I lost my virginity, cool, that's done with. And I think I'm just reached a point in that time. And I feel like now, I wouldn't say I regret it, but I feel like I'd handle it in a different way than I did then.
Okay.
For sure.
I have another question then.
Okay.
So, do you feel that you can be intimate only with a committed partner, or can you be intimate with many people?
No, you could be intimate with many people because it's not only physical, it's emotional. And I think when you're intimate emotionally, you really have to let your guard down to trust somebody else with the information that you find private. And that's, to me, even more powerful than just physical.
Sexual intimacy.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like, is intimacy something that you need or crave? Like for me, I go through the periods where I crave the physicality of it all. One, of course, you know, all the way hungry when, like, you know, and when I'm hungry I eat. But I noticed that I prefer, or I am satisfied when I get that physical need, you know, scratched or whatever, with with someone that I feel like share or have a connection with. Like I prefer to do that over it casually with, you know, or with a guy that I know is like, you know, a hoe. So do you feel the craving for intimacy? And can you identify when it's intimacy that you're craving?
I crave intimacy in the sense that I crave the love aspect of it, but I only crave it from really myself. All right, so fun fact about me. Me and my girlfriend, they're together for 3 years now, right? About 85% of this relationship, she made out States. She made a study abroad. We even start for date while she made it away, right? Now, a lot of my friends and some of my families, you know, like, then crack the age old jokes like, yeah, you the date she, but we know you got at least something on the side. You know, like the usual stuff, or like how your scratch said itch, right?
Yeah.
Never fazed me. Never fazed me. Never, like, once me really hit me. I kind of pride myself in the fact that I don't one of the people who, like, the whole long distance thing, you know, really affect me. In the sense that the physical need not drive me to go try, like, mess up what I have going on, right?
I could ask you a question in
Sure.
that sense then. Since the physical aspect of the intimacy isn't there, what about, like, how to say it, the companionship intimacy? Like, just her being here.
Okay, so for that, I could definitely tell you that in the first few months when we started to date, like, apart, you how to put it, you kind of to feel your way. Just like with any new relationship, you to feel your way. Me personally, I came out of something prior to that, so I actually used that time when I started for date and when she made that way, I used that time to work on myself. Right, so you could kind of say that the timing may ideal because I had this window of time where I could have used to really focus on me. Work at the relationship while at the same time work on something that I really wasn't at the time, which was my self-love, right? So I kind of had both of that going on. So when she did come back, she came back to, like, me where I'm a proud for share with she. Right. Now, in the other times when she came and when she went back, yes, I started to miss her because now I get that taste of having my partner here in many ways. Right? But no, I get the taste of having my partner here.
Yeah.
So now I got this new feeling, this new vibe, and this overwhelming in a very positive way. Losing that, I don't trick you. Each time I walk Sheen through the airport and she passed her security booth and she took that dip into duty free G. Juicy, yeah, it's the juicy, yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay,
like,
but
you know.
you started off by saying you had to work on your self intimacy, right?
Yeah, I had to work on mine.
That is why we're here, because I want us to talk about what that even is. Because, okay, we said that intimacy is closeness and a connection. It doesn't have to be physical. But when it comes to self-intimacy, you're already thinking, okay, masturbation. But further, I feel it's the relationship that you have with yourself. How much you know yourself, how comfortable you are with yourself. And I want to ask you all the question, like, how comfortable or how intimate are you with yourself?
I think for me, the physical part is easy, but the emotional part, when it comes to what we call negative emotions, I was so used to trying to suppress sadness, trying to suppress anger and those things. But slowly I'm learning that it's about allowing myself to feel these emotions so that I can go through them and then get over them quicker.
Right.
So, like, it's even on my own, it takes a lot for me to cry, even when I'm on my own. So for me, I think I need to work more on that part of self-intimacy, allowing myself to feel through these emotions. But physically, your girl ain't got no problem.
Literally 1 minute. Like, sometimes I only need 1 minute. Like,
I mean,
like, sometimes I'm just like, let's go. I'm stressed out.
I got
like,
no problem, man. I feel like it shouldn't be a shame or a taboo or anything, you know, because if you don't know how to connect with yourself physically, then how can you expect someone else to do that with you? Like, it begins with you.
And that's
important.
across the board. It's not just with the physicality. It's across the board. The emotionalness of it, the mentality, just everything about it. And this is why I love what you said, because the truth is, the masturbation is like the easiest hurdle for any human being when it comes to the concept of self-love. It's very easy. But the emotional, the mental, you fight so many things when you actually decide to start address those aspects of you. Because, and I know even just you, that's the crazy part. Like, I remember when I made a start for work on it, the thought may honestly cross my head, like what my friends and family want to think when I tell them something like this. And then I immediately box that out of my head, because I actually ask myself, why that even something I have to think about to begin with? Like, why should I care about that? The whole idea of self-love is in the name, self-love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I took that time I had, the same time I had, I took that time I had, and I really dove into me as a person.
Right.
The pains, the
shadow work
hardships
and
I
of
gone
it
through,
all.
just everything, and really just getting myself to a point where I could just be like, I good, like I okay. Like, I'm not as perfect as I would want to be, but I definitely made progress on one thing. When my friends, I always hear from me every now and then, like when they come to me and then talk to me about like daily hurdles or just anything in general. It could be one level in our game, and I use this phrase at my game with my friends when I tell them any progress, that progress. Literally, any 1 millimeter that still one step towards
That's
something.
one important thing in a self-intimacy, like on the whole spectrum, it's a continuous progress.
Yeah,
like
it
it
doesn't
never
end.
ends.
Yeah.
Right. You're constantly learning yourself.
Exactly.
But listen, I think that whilst all of that is like the back end work, like I meditate, like I actually practice sex work. Yeah, sex magic work, you know what I mean?
I don't, but
Not
go
sex
ahead.
work, sex magic.
2 words I never really expected.
Sex magic. Yeah, it's a thing. It's like
fun.
literally a thing. And so I feel
It's fun.
it's very fun.
Like, pull a rabbit out or something.
No. It's
was a
it's
joke.
basically like you're basically meditating whilst you're, you know, intimate with yourself.
Asking a personal
That's pretty
question.
dope.
Yeah.
Do you do it by yourself or like
I've done it with a partner,
Partners.
and that was an experience, but mostly myself. And so that where I'm going is like all of the back end work is expressed through masturbation, and I think masturbation is super important
think that's
for
so interesting.
for your sexual like evolution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know that's why I want to ask Clark if he masturbates and how much he masturbates per day.
He's being too quiet.
That was so smooth.
You better try hide behind it.
Like I
he did think like
You
I
never
saw
sit
him.
at the control. I never even sit at the control.
I don't like, should I turn away, Clark, or should I just maintain that eye contact? And as soon as I lost it, I try like work out at least schedule it myself, you know?
Good job.
Yeah, can't
You know the
overdo it.
early in the morning, like no.
No, I don't like the nighttime, especially the curfew, very late. I mean, very early, sorry. You know, and it gets very lonely. And
Right.
That's a very lonely road, sorry. So I'd say for the week, I did watch solid maybe about
4 times? 4 times a week? That's not bad. That's like...
That's healthy, man. That's
The
healthy.
way you made a billion.
Next question. I feel like adding different questions in on this, but in that situation, how intimate are you with yourself when you when you masturbate? Like, you just put your hand on your penis and go, or like, do you?
No, baby girl. Step it to my.
Like you cook yourself dinner.
Yeah,
you
man,
wine
so they
and
have,
dine
like-
yourself.
Wine and
Yeah, you have to
I've
prep
done
to
that
it.
before.
You have to set the ambience. Check, you have to light your little candles there.
Put
Like
on
that,
one
I
mix
got
on
specific
the
cinnamon apple smell what I like my room smell like. It have to be that cinnamon apple, because that just gets stuff aroused. But anyway, so I have to like think about it. I have to be like, okay, so what I feel like right now? I feel like, you know, a MILF mode or a BBW, like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Find the correct part.
Find the correct part. How am I feeling, you know?
Imagination need to stir.
Yeah, check. I have to say what myself to feel. You know, it's not about nobody else.
Get
it's
the
about me.
creative juices to flow.
Yes, and when that start flowing, and then you just go where you need to go on your mobile, you know. That way, I like your big screen, because your big screen come in handy these days. You know, and then you got your wipes one side, and then you just pick your spot, you know. Just pick your spot. I
Hell of
usually
a
like the
picture,
shower,
Cox.
you know.
Hell of a
that's-
picture.
Yeah.
Like, I literally made it in my
You visualize it, right? I'm very
That
good
is
at
not
that.
fun
Yes.
for somebody with
You
a
know?
very visual mentality.
Yeah. And then the saying,
Man, I have to
this
take off the
saying,
glasses.
this saying is very strong.
Kind of have to go fade after this. Kind of not me, bro. Whoa.
And the saying, when you come to your senses, that is true. I respect it. I respect it.
I like that. I like that. How I
Come to your
use that for
senses,
my
yeah.
girlfriend this week.
Okay. All right. So, how many times do the lovely ladies masturbate a week?
I mean, I'm in a relationship, so.
So?
I feel, wait,
I was like, so?
I can't finish.
So?
Yes, sis.
I feel like when you in a relationship, at least you don't need to masturbate as much.
Ooh, baby girl, I've never been in a
But
relationship.
I think I mean, my boyfriend might feel one way about me to say this, but I don't care.
Forgive
My sex
him.
life very active. I okay with that, and it's pleasingly active. But you know, sometimes things happen. You feel one way. He worked on weekends. You know.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I masturbate as much as Clark's, but it happened every now and again. I just say maybe like for the month, maybe 3 or 4 times for a month.
I feel like I have a problem.
I guess
Are you in a relationship or are you single like me?
I couldn't watch C straight
I
because
wanna
of
hear
just the
someone's answer.
puzzleness in her eyes.
Are you single like me?
I am a single Pringle.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah,
that's-
I think for single people it's different. I mean, yeah, I don't think I have like a number of times where like I don't count, but I just reflecting on the question, I realized that when my life is actually in balance, that I do it more often versus when I'm stressed, when I'm going through
Correct.
emotional things, the urge doesn't actually come. So I find that, oh, it might have been like a week since I last did it when I'm really, really stressed. But when everything they're like in a balance and going, yeah, a couple times. I don't have a number, but a couple times a week. Yeah.
Bro,
Okay.
when
And
my
it's not so
girl
intimate.
made that away, when my girl made that away, I just recently found out at the gym this week that this hand
Very stronger than
tremendously stronger than this hand. And I even had like a moment where I laughed to myself because I did at the gym, right? And they have this one where you call like resting curls, right? So I had to do it, and this hand like he did do it thing, and I like
You need me to feed
this
it.
tight, this dope. Enter the left hand,
Which
right?
one like 8 pounds and you the ball.
Clark, I'm gonna do 10 reps per set, and this hand could have barely make 5 to the point that I legit had to use this for help it, right? And in my head, I was like, wow, thanks, babe. Like, thank you so much. Like, no, like, it's funny, but it's true, but it's funny. Like, that for me, like, her being away, that was the time when, like, I would find myself doing it more then than I am now. I'm not saying that I don't now, but it was different.
Minimize one of them relationship.
It minimized, yeah. But the thing is, truthfully, like I could only speak for me the same way Drea could only speak for her. You can only speak for you, and you can only speak for yourself. Because with other people, like, hey, different strokes for different folks,
That's
right? But seriously though, like it's a case by case basis. It's circumstantial, just like many of the other
You
topics
should
that
have
we
done the
discussed.
circumstantial.
I really
Anyway.
like puns, but yeah.
Okay, so we've established that, you know, you can be self-intimate without touching yourself, right?
You can, yes.
You can. We've established that.
Yes.
So I want to know,
Ashanti looked like she was ready for this question.
I was just gonna make a comment, but got you.
This
I
side
love,
of the
actually
table.
low-key want to ask her because, you know, you do naked yoga, right? And I feel like there is no time that I'm most frustrated with myself than when I am in some type of hatha position or ashtanga position that I can't do. Like, it's very frustrating. Like, I'm upset at myself and you know, like, we were talking about shadow work.
Oh.
And so, like, I struggle with my personal mind and body connection sometimes. And I want to ask you, since, you know, you do this in the nude, I don't know about Uno, but when I'm scantily clad, I tend to feel a little bit sexier than normal and, like, you know, a little bit more intimate than normal. How do you not, like, think about sex when you're, like,
Well, I have to say I'm very professional about my job, especially when I teach nude, because nude yoga is not a sexual thing at all. Just like how you would do it clothed, you just do it naked. Yes, when you are naked, there are certain positions where, like, if you do it, I find that it's like, okay, well, this is quite vulnerable. And
I like the word vulnerable.
yeah, it's vulnerable, especially depending on the angle based on how I'm demonstrating or showing the client, like, and you do feel a bit more, like, a sense of arousal might begin, but once you keep yourself professional, like, it's not something that overtakes, you know.
Say I am a school girl because, I mean, I can't watch somebody balls, they, like, hang or, like,
I watch them every Wednesday, but go through.
So interesting. So very interesting.
actually, this is super interesting, especially what you have shared. But let us take a quick break before we continue with this discussion. You know, we need to talk a little bit more about touching ourselves.
Warning: the following contains content intended for older audiences and may contain strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good night and welcome back to Taboo Talks. I am your host, Drea. Tonight we're discussing self-intimacy, finding your inner G-spot, or so to speak. So, picking up where we left off, I want to talk a little bit to the guys, boys. So, some people have never experienced a truly intimate encounter. What do you think are some reasons for that? Because I feel like there are men out there that really are just about the daggering, really are just about the conquest of it all. Like, it's really just about the physical satisfaction and the egotistical power, or, like, you know, that they get from this conquest. What do you say to your friends? Do you even talk about this with, like, your guy friends? Like, is this a topic of
actually
conversation?
concerning how much guys actually talk to their friends
Yes,
about stuff. And I
definitely.
know
Yeah.
they say, like, me and my friends. I talk about, like, guys
In general?
It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Facts, for real.
Like,
I mean, Rolling Stones catch
We are,
no
we
mas,
are an
yo.
open gender. We are a very open gender.
How many funny words today?
Like, no, it's for real. Like, all right, so I'd say me and my friends, because I have, like, manly inner circle and so forth, I mean, it's no secret the stigma they have against, well, that's attached to entertainers, DJs, or whatever you want to call us. due to the environment and what are we exposed to when we travel, X, Y, Z. So if you honestly not take your head out of the gutter and no make that, like if you make that get to you, you eventually like will lose yourself. Like me when I'm younger, not saying I'm old, but you know, man, like younger days when I just made a like getty night and I made get them parties and like you know, all of the nice high-end parties, Clark's the DJ for it and so forth. And like it was me one and like that feeling to get to and like everybody want to know you, hang with you, the DJ, this, that. And of course, girls tend to flock towards the attention as well, some of them. And you get to know like damn, like all I like where I really did though. And then allow myself for connect intimately with anybody, and I don't mean intimately physically. I mean for actually like settle and like talk to somebody and know them and be like, then I start questioning myself, what I really want to know a girl? What I see myself with what girl? Like where I want to build her? Like what's really happening other than me just the score from one girl to one girl?
I think men not have that conversation with their self until like later on in our life. Like I feel like if one guy have a conversation like that with himself, like early age, and when I say early age, I mean 20s, that no one waiting for no.
Yeah, like I'm fortunate enough for like.
I will take that though. I will take that though because I am literally one of those people. Like, I could actually double this back to your first question, or one of your first questions, which was when I first experienced intimacy. It was around the age of 16, high school. How did I know that it was something I appreciated was because the person wasn't from my school. We used to only talk on the phone. But, well, me, I love talk. So that
Say that.
so that is something what I'm genuinely enjoy. And the things where we share and all of that, like, we grew as friends, you know? And it was crazy to think that about 2 years, I literally just me and this person on the phone. But it made it work. And that when I started to realize how much I appreciate communication.
Did you ever get to the physical part with this person?
Yeah, like way down the road, but yeah. But that made it even more important, like even more intimate, for the same fact that pretty much years of our stage, I'm just talking. So for me,
bring up some, anyways, continue.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just talking here. But no, so for me, at a very early age, I pretty much already had an idea what I wanted in a partner or in an intimate setting for me, right? So my first time, like any other guy, because I feel like it's something with guys more than with girls, but you know what? I will not say that confidently because I'm open to you correcting me. I'm open to all three of you correcting me, right? But for guys, I know we put a lot of pressure on ourselves our first times. At least I know I did. Because for me, it's very important, right? So my first time, as intimate as it was still a little bit difficult or of such, right? But it was still special to me, definitely still special to me. If I had to go back, I would do it the exact same way. Like,
you sure? Not even change up the technique?
Exact same way.
You don't learn nothing new since then?
Because if I had to do anything differently about it, I may end up to have to take my economics exam, or sorry, my economics test, and I never had upon that.
Oh, wow.
I do not regret missing that.
So I have I myself, I don't know if I can answer this question. So, you know, some of us don't necessarily want intimate partners, or we don't want commitment. Maybe I should say it that way. It's two different things. We don't want commitment. So, you know, we tend to have friends with benefits. No. I have a story, but this person might not like that I'm hearing it out.
Say it.
So I had a very, I don't think we could have been more intimate with a longtime friend, right? When I tell you I know everything about her, he know everything about me, basically. Like, they good, the bad, and they're really, 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 really ugly. And, you know, eventually, you know, life happens, and it turned into a physical relationship. I can tell you that I almost feel and that I regret taking it to physical intimacy because now we're not friends.
You feel like you lost
Well,
that.
I mean, honestly, I can't say that we're not friends. It's a situation where we don't have the connection or the communication
closeness.
and the closeness that we used to have, because it got muddled up
Yeah.
with all of the external factors that comes with you being physically intimate with someone, right? So my question to you is this: can you have a long-lasting, intimate relationship with a person that's just friends with benefits, or just like a casual hookup?
What do you consider long?
Well, in my situation, it was like 4 or 5 years.
Oh.
I think,
Knowing the person for like 8, 10,
Wow.
10 plus. Yeah.
I think how quickly, or not quickly, how easily you can trust yourself of letting go of that person plays a role. And when it comes to intimacy, whether it's physical or not, that might take a while. Because I had a friend with benefits that I would say I was very intimate with on personal level and physical level. And this was something that went on not as long as yours, but it was like 2 years-ish.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 years, 2.5 years. Me and the person are still friends and we're still cool, but not everybody get that luxury. And I think you have to do it how well you willing to let go of each other for say, okay, this
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Like the physical aspect of our intimacy is finished and over with. I've moved on, you've moved on, but I still love you or I still care
Yeah.
for you. And I think that plays a big role, if you choose to be friends with benefits intimately.
You did such a really good job explaining something where I'm a botch. If I had to explain it just now,
Yeah.
because I can't exactly answer this question because I've never been in that position. I've never had a friend with benefit, right? But if I were to give my thoughts on it, that is literally what I would have said. The only difference is I would have used the word shallow in terms of how easily you can be willing to let go of this person. And I would have used that word very poorly. You did a really good job saying it the way you did. No lie, but that I feel the same way. In order to have something like that last, that like you can't catch feelings. You can't catch
But
feelings.
that's
It's
impossible.
impossible.
Yeah.
It is impossible,
that
and
is
yet
impossible.
day in, day out, people continue to
Different
try
type
to
of
play this
feeling.
game to
It's
feel like they want to be the
impossible.
one to do it.
I think the difference is attachment. It's not about feelings,
I
it's
just want to say
attachment.
that maturity plays because and I think what you meant to talk about with like communication important in any relationship. We know this. So in our friends with benefits, you need to establish certain boundaries. So like me and my friends with benefits, you may establish boundaries. We used to go out and people legit used to ask we, on a date?
Yep.
No. We
Yep.
tell people straight up, on a date? No.
Yeah.
People come up to we, flirt with we, talk with we not feel no way, but like we set boundaries, we understood our limits, we understood what played role here and there,
I feel
who
like
we
a
dealt with.
tremendous discipline also
Yeah.
come into terms with that because like I'm pretty sure like despite the fact that you two handled it so well, I'd like to think that whether it be you or
Jealousy
them,
played a
there
role.
was a
Yeah.
moment.
I'm not even
right?
gonna lie.
Exactly.
Jealousy
So
did
there's
play
there's a
100%.
big discipline
Yeah.
I feel would come with that. Yeah.
I think it's also, and going back to what Robin already said, it also goes back to the relationship that you have with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you fall in love with the person and the person falls in love with you, period.
Yeah.
But if you spend so much time being
Together.
so close
Yeah.
and intimate,
And in your
and
spaces.
you are going to build an attachment to that person.
That's what
So it then depends on your self-discipline, your self-love, and the love that you have for that person to understand that, okay, this needs to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When is this enough? Are we, but anyway, gotta catch me. I'm not over it yet. Anyways, okay, so let me take a breather. I need to take a walk. But this has been very interesting so far. Once we come back, After this quick break, we're going to have our final segment with a very special guest that is going to, share her very wise opinions about self-intimacy. We'll see you in a few.
Warning: the following contains content intended for older audiences and may contain strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Taboo Talks. I'm Drea. So to cap off our conversation tonight, we have VIANNEY Blades joining us via Zoom as our sexpert. VIANNEY has been offering holistic coaching for some time now and specializes in spiritual awakening. Hey VIANNEY, are you there?
Yes, Drea, I'm here. It's nice to be on the show.
Welcome back. Now you're our like call-in expert. First you were a guest, and now we promote you. How you feel about that?
I feel good. I mean, you know that I love this topic either way, so I am just ready to talk about it.
Well, I'm ready to hear your thoughts on our conversation so far.
Okay. So I honestly am really amazed at the depth of the conversation, like you guys mentioned in the beginning, most people tend to say, I'm going to get really intimate with someone, meaning that they're going to have sex, or engage in sexual activity. And I really like that, being that it's a group of young adults having this conversation, that you guys have the ability to have a deeper awareness of intimacy, that it's not just sexual, that it has a lot to do with the emotional and mental aspect of it. And I'm seeing that a lot more young people are very in tune with that. And I'm really enjoying hearing, the perspective of one of the guys who said he's in a long distance relationship. That resonates with me a lot, and hearing how he was preparing himself during a time of physical separation with his partner,
Right.
to really dive deep and assess some of the things that he needed to work on, and to clear some of that, what would you call, baggage from a previous relationship. Because more than often than not, you just see people like jumping from one person to the next and not really assessing the things that would pretty much be detrimental to a new relationship.
Right.
And that's definitely all to do with self-intimacy.
So,
Yeah.
so let me ask you this. So, what would be your concerns about restraining that what I would say is a natural urge? Because to me, self-pleasuring is natural. Like, it's something that we really and truly, I feel like every episode I say this, I don't understand why it's a big deal. Like, why is it a big deal to pleasure yourself, or to like work on the relationship that you have with yourself?
Right. So, what I teach my clients is that self-pleasure has so many layers to it. There are different layers. So, it depends on the situation. If someone is heavily dependent on self-pleasure, specifically masturbation, then a concern would be maybe you are bypassing something or coping by using masturbation as your tool. So can we step back and reassess some of the hard truths about yourself by removing that one aspect that you really, really, really enjoy, that dopamine rush that we usually seek out, and then assess some of the things that are layers and layers and layers behind your psyche, and then see if that comes to the forefront, and then reestablish a different connection with self-pleasure through masturbation. I think that's one of the main things that, that it's not good or bad. It's pretty much how you use it. If you're using it as a healing tool, as a tool to awaken certain aspects of you that you've suppressed, then it's beautiful. But I think it also becomes detrimental when that's your sole outlet that you use to connect to yourself or to feel into your body. And there's so many different ways that you can create a deeper, intimate setting with yourself.
Do you encounter a lot of people that do have a problem with self-intimacy?
Actually, I do. I do work with a lot of people, specifically women. It's ironic because we tend to think that because women are more emotionally expressive, that they would have a deeper connection with themselves, but it's just maybe the culture that we have as women that we tend to not. Maybe a lot of people feel like it's wrong to connect with yourself in that
Right.
way, or you should leave that up to your partner to discover those aspects of yourself. And someone mentioned it in the conversation that the only way you can enjoy a connection with someone is by the depth at which you connect with yourself. And that goes both ways. And I find that men might have a little bit more openness in connecting with themselves than women are, but when it comes to the emotional aspect, connecting with your emotions, feeling through certain things, identifying emotional patterns and stuff like that can be challenging for both men and women. And that is key to deepening the intimacy with yourself.
I'm going to deviate a little bit. I'm going to ask you, where do you think this guilt or shame comes from? I mean, we know that, we grew up in a, I want to say, religious society. But why do we keep that guilt? Because I myself, like, I have this, and maybe I'm... Yes, masturbation is a sin. I am very open about my love for myself. I have no problem with that. But I do find myself getting paranoid, like, I lock the door good, or I want them to hear me, or because I would be completely ashamed if someone were to catch me in the act. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't be, but I wouldn't be as ashamed if I were caught in the act with someone else, with a partner. Do you know what I mean? Where does this guilt and disgust come from?
I think in general, the whole conversation of connecting with your body in that way has just never been addressed. That's not a topic that you hear about in your first sex ed class in school. It's not discussed in the home. You literally only hear about it within your friend circle or your first experiences with porn. Right? And so that in itself, and even watching porn, and that's a whole topic in itself, but that entire storyline in itself creates this narrative in our minds that it's not healthy. It's something that you should do in the shadows, or you should hide to do certain things. And I think the more that we have conversations like this, the more that we educate people on the benefits of connecting with yourself, I think maybe a few generations from now, that won't be the case. If we are the future of our nation and we're already being more open than the previous generations about these topics, then maybe we can have these discussions in schools, in universities and stuff like that, because it's really needed, or else we'll just continue the cycle of just hiding when these are just forms of expression. And there is a certain level of innocence to it, but because of the societal implications of doing certain things, that's why it's ingrained in our minds that we have to hide to be able to appreciate and love ourselves.
Yep, agreed. So let me ask you this final question, Mama.
Yeah.
Give us some tips to coach ourselves should we feel that we're lacking in self-intimacy. What are some, I'd say, tips that you can give us?
Sure. So one of the best things that I can advise anyone to do is to journal. And people would often say, like, why would I journal about things that I feel like I'm lacking? Well, first of all, we need to be honest with ourselves. Intimacy, a huge part of intimacy is radical honesty. And not just being honest with someone else about how you feel about them, but to be honest about yourself. If you feel like you're deprived of something, if you feel like you're lacking something, how can you assess that within yourself before you go outside of yourself to go out and look for that? So I would say some form of journaling. Another powerful thing to do is to look at yourself in the mirror. And one thing that I like to do about that is to connect with your own eyes. So a very powerful way to be intimate with a partner or a friend, if it's just platonic intimacy, is to have nonverbal communication. And you can do that by just looking into someone's eyes without saying anything, someone being the receiver, someone being the giver of that energy, and just feel your way through it. And if you don't have a partner, if you feel like you want to start doing it on your own, then you can do that when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You know, there are simple little things that you can do. Another thing that you can do to deepen your self-intimacy, specifically when it comes to the topic of self-pleasure and masturbation, is to get to a point where most people call it edging, but it's just
Right before.
sensory awareness. So touching different areas of your body that you may not have been comfortable in touching before, or areas that you may not have found pleasurable. Some of them are the joints, you know, the neck, the back, different areas like that. And to just enjoy the journey rather than the end result, which is more often than not the orgasm or ejaculation for men. I think that would be a powerful tool. It also helps people in general to experience sex in a different way, rather than just literally being that you're using someone else's body to masturbate, because that's what people pretty much do now when they have sex.
Right.
Just to get to that end point, and then you just get that full rush of endorphins surging through your body just to feel a certain way. But truly, I think the way we can change the whole narrative about intimacy is by just enjoying that journey, enjoying the ups and the downs and the discomforts and the hard truths that come up.
Thank you for that, V. I'm actually gonna open up the stage to my guests and to see if anyone wants to ask you something specifically.
But I have a comment in terms of where the shame and the guilt comes from, and we were discussing it during the break. It's from religion. I mean, shucks. I grew up Catholic, and they teach that masturbation was sin. So, of course, anything that is sinful comes with a lot of shame, guilt, like it gets ingrained in us. And yeah, I remember there were times where that was my confession to the priest. And I felt bad.
Yeah.
Now I feel fine.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what, the
thank
priest?
Like I flipped the wrist last night, brother.
Guess what I did? I used the purple nurple, Rabbit 200, the butt plug, the pearls.
I don't use any toys.
No toys?
No toys, and I don't use my hands. But yeah, let's finish off.
Wait, what?
Wait, real back.
Yeah, sorry, what?
I know that I always throw off.
So it's just
What?
like you
I
just
don't use my hands.
you just
You use your
mentally get
mind.
yourself there, which I've done before.
So have I.
Me and
It's
you
such
boring
a-
as
On
hell,
top
bro.
something when we
It's
did
like,
like-
boring as hell, bro.
Wait, then I
Suck.
thought
These suck.
You guys,
Then
you
I
guys
feel
have
like
wet
I'm gonna do
dreams. It's the
something,
same
man.
thing.
Is the
Same thing.
like that the my
Yeah, I'm so
had
sorry.
such a
Ladies,
lovely-
there's a line we want to draw on. Let's keep it to ourselves. And it hurt.
I just threw that out there because I knew it would get your minds
My
working.
pride.
But
I
yeah.
know.
Actually, yeah.
I'm going through my contact list
when
tonight
it comes
and I
to
go have
when it
full
comes when it
conversation
no,
because
I think people don't play that role into sex. Part of sex has a lot to do with your mind.
More than part.
Yeah,
Most of it.
most of it, like
Right,
reaching that intimacy, bro.
Hello?
Yeah.
I like that she mentioned that. I think that people really associate climax and orgasm with physical touch, but in a lot of spiritual practices, there's no touch at all. I do teach a form of orgasmic meditation that is just through breathing, and it can be done silly in meditation.
Yep.
It's a very deep practice. It requires a certain level of discipline for sure, and it's possible. And a lot of people do need mental and emotional connection before they feel safe enough to allow themselves to just be present in that moment while they're in that physical act with their partner or that person that they're having sex with. So yeah, absolutely.
100.
Especially for women, because
Yes, 100.
we are 100% connected to our emotions, and we need that openness. We need to know that we're safe. We need to know that our bodies are safe with that person in order to experience such a heightened level of experience.
Yep. VIANNEY, thank you a million for closing our session tonight with,
Thank you for having me.
of course, with such deep, I think, words, the knowledge that we all innately have, because I personally believe that we all innately know this. Like, we know it. Like, it just needs to be said and talked about. And we look forward to having you back in season 2 of Taboo Talks.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to have a season 2.
I'm looking forward to it.
I want to thank not only you, VIANNEY, but also our guests and the viewers as well that, have been in the comments, have stopped me on the street because I get enough people who are like, hey, I watch your show. I'm like, are you in the comments? I don't have anything to say outside. I'm not being paid for that. So, you know what I mean? So thank you, everyone, for your participation. Everyone here, everyone at home, everyone on their phones, on their TVs. Thank you so much. This has been amazing, this first season. And, we've enjoyed an audacious, unique cable TV show for young people, and airing out all of these topics has been the highlight of my month. Thank you very much. And, we want to always leave space to talk about things that really matter to us, but, sometimes goes censored or ignored. We don't have time for that. We need to say it. In several instances, we kind of just been able to touch the surface of certain topics, but not to worry. Like I said, we'll be back for season 2 at a date to be announced, but let's continue pushing the envelope and buttons even further. Thank you for joining us for our steamy discussions and for continuing them with your friends, coworkers, hookups, family, whomsoever you talk to on the low. The sneaky link. I don't know what you do on your own timing, but follow Colorblind Multimedia on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for reruns, more behind-the-scenes fun, and special updates about Taboo Talks and more. With that, Taboo Talks is signing off for now, but we will meet again. Buenas noches y muchas gracias. Bye, everyone.